do you ever wonder, like, what on earth happened to that sale? The whole process seemed like it was going so well, and you felt like they were nodding and smiling, and they would say things like, yeah, I just need to think about it, but I'll probably join. And then the sale ends up never happening. And you're like, what is going on? I thought it was going to be a slam dunk. And it can be really frustrating because you're trying to make iterations and get better, but you don't know how to if you don't know what went wrong. Now, of course, there's a variety of things that could have gone wrong, and we won't really know unless I were to watch your sales call. So since I can't do that, what I do want to do is give you 5 phrases that you need to stop saying and what to replace them with. Now, these phrases are very seemingly innocent and seemingly not a big deal, but they actually are a very huge deal because they reveal a mental mapping that you have. And this mental mapping might say things like, I don't value my product as much, or it says things about how you see yourself, or how you see your prospect, or how you see your expertise and your credibility. And we really want to stack the odds in your favor as much as possible, and removing these phrases and replacing them with these new phrases I'm going to give you will absolutely do that. So let's get started. The first word to remove from your vocabulary is the word guarantee. And I know guarantees are very hot, and it seems like it makes so much sense. It's like, hey, we'll give a guarantee. If it doesn't work out, then they can get their money back. And so it's a very low barrier to entry. It's like no risk on their point. They'll come in, get a little taste, and they won't want to leave. It'll be a no-brainer. And I wish that that was the case for most people, but it's simply just not. I honestly love the idea of, hey, like, come in, give it your all. I'll give it my all. And if it doesn't work out, no harm, no foul. But it guarantees, in my opinion, it just brings a certain type of person. It brings a person who comes in the front door that is already looking for the back door. It brings a person that is interested but not committed. And if you really want people to win, they have to be fully committed, all in. And so if you go ahead and lead with, hey, there's a guarantee, if it doesn't work out, I'll just give you your money back, it basically makes them come in just kicking the tires. I've done guarantees before, and it has definitely been painful to see people that actually did win and that were getting amazing results, and they still wanted their money back because it's just the nature of a guarantee. So instead, what I want you to do is tell somebody, hey, I can't guarantee this, but here's what I can do with a very specific story. So it sounds a little something like this. Hey, I know you're thinking about joining the Sell Your Offer Challenge, and I can't guarantee any specific result that could happen for you, but here's what I will tell you. Just last month, we had somebody come into the challenge, and she had a $40,000 week just by learning what she learned in the Sell Your Offer Challenge. Now, like I said, I can't guarantee you're going to have those results, but what I do want to tell you is that it is possible when you come and really give it your all in the challenge. So it gives you a little bit of credibility and authority by having a very specific example, and also it shares what's possible for them. Another thing about a guarantee is that it really just sets you up to underdeliver, because it's actually impossible for you to guarantee anything. And like, honestly, think about it. Probably likely with your offer are a lot of other contributing factors that helps people win, right? They have to implement. Maybe you sell a product that they actually have to use every single day. Maybe you have a health offer and it requires them, maybe not to drink alcohol, and you can't control if they drink alcohol or not. So when you guarantee things, you basically are overpromising, which sets you up to underdeliver and also causes people to be underwhelmed, which is just obviously never something that you want to happen. So get rid of the word guarantee. Say, I can't guarantee this, but here's what I can do. I can tell you a specific story of someone that did go through my program or that did use my product and had this specific result. Now, I have a little disclaimer for you, because if you were to join the Sell Your Offer Challenge, you would actually hear that we do have a guarantee within the Sell Your Offer Challenge, but I want to kind of tell you the background of that and why it actually does work in the Sell Your Offer Challenge. So our Sell Your Offer Challenge, it is a sales strategy. It is a sales mechanism. The point of a challenge is for people to come in and for them to learn so much and for their brain to get so rewired that they don't want the learning to stop. The program is, there's 3 options. You can do a $97 ticket, a $297 ticket, and then there's a third one as well, a higher level option. And so it's just kind of a low risk situation when it's such a low level offer. But the main important thing here is that this is not a guarantee for our actual offer. It's a guarantee for the sales event. So if someone were to come into the challenge, go through the whole challenge and still want their money back, they're really not a good fit for our program anyway. It's no problem. It kind of filters people out. The other thing is we have quite a few stipulations with the guarantee. It's only available for the highest level ticket holders, and they have to be on camera every single day. They have to do their homework every single day. Those 2 things have to be in place for the guarantee to unlock. So when you have higher level ticket holders, like the people that go into a room and they're like, oh, I always get VIP. I always sit first class. I am luxury. I am 5-star. Those type of people that identify like that, typically they're not going to ask for their money back. They're going to be all in because that's just who they are naturally. So it makes sense for that specific group. And it really helps like us show up at like hey, I'm going to give it my all. You give it your all. We will meet halfway in the middle. And when that happens, you will get insane results. And that has actually been the case for the year that we've done the Sell Your Offer Challenge. It has worked out so well to really like show up for those people who choose the higher level ticket offer. They show up fully, they get amazing results, like the $40,000 week, hello, and it really works for the sales event. So I want to make that disclaimer so that you knew kind of the underwiring and the under the hood of why that's the case for the challenge, but anywhere else, it's a no-go. The second phrase you want to get rid of is really agreeing with any kind of objection, any story that they have, any kind of life circumstances that are going on in their world, agreeing that they are problems. So it can be really common to hear someone's objection and it seems really legitimate. And maybe it is legitimate, right? Maybe it's a mom and she says things like, I have young kids and life is so hard right now. I'm in the trenches. I'm not getting any sleep. My husband travels all the time. I have no help. I can never do this. And I notice as women, specifically, we want other women to feel supported, which is such a beautiful thing. And what typically people do to help people feel supported is to agree with them by saying things like, yeah, it is really hard. Yeah, you're not alone. Yeah, this is really challenging for you. And it's very kind, honestly, but what ends up happening is you're giving so much power to the objection. You're giving so much power to the circumstance. And your job as a salesperson is to really show them that there is a better way and to kind of break them free of the chokehold that their story has on them. But we obviously want to be supportive and show empathy and get on their side of the table. So there's a way to do this by not agreeing with them, but also showing empathy. And that is by using something called a point of agreement. So we're not agreeing with the objection, but we are finding a point of agreement. So let me give you a couple examples. Someone says, this is very expensive. You say something like, hey, I get it. It is so important to be aware of your finances. We can agree with that, right? Hey, my kids are so young and it just feels like really impossible. Hey, I totally understand. It's so important that we feel really confident in whatever we do. Hey, I am really struggling with this time commitment right now because I just am working with so many clients. Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree. Like, it's so important to give your clients the best delivery as possible, right? We can all agree with that. And this is the process of you kind of taking them from looking down into their problems and kind of slowly looking up into what could be a solution. That is the process of them looking up, and then you'll kind of go and start to handle the objection. Now, I actually have another kind of layer to this. It's a little ninja. So if you can handle it, I'll show it to you. So come here, let me show you on my iPad. So someone might just offer you the time objection by saying something like, it's just a little too much time. And you could go ahead and find that point of agreement that sounds something like, hey, I get it. It is important to manage our time, right? Everyone can agree with that. Or you could get more specific. And the best way to get specific is to ask something called a clarifying question. Now, there's many different clarifying questions that you could ask, but my favorite one is as simple as this. hey, like, yes, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Can you tell me what makes you say that? That's it. What makes you say that? It's a lot of time. Tell me more about what makes you say that. Great. So they might say, well, like I said, I have a lot of clients that I'm working on right now. Or they might say, hey, I'm brand new at this, and it's going to take me so much time to have to learn all this information when I'm so new. Do you see how this would equal different points of agreements? So this one would say something like, hey, I get it. It is so important to deliver with excellence to your clients. Beautiful. This one would sound something like, hey, I totally understand. I also want to be so confident in the new things that I do. Do you see how much more? Actually, that is what represents empathy right here. It's like, I'm listening to you specifically, what is in your heart, what is on your mind, what's weighing on you, and I'm going to speak specifically to those things because I care so much about you. The third phrase to get rid of, and it's honestly a little controversial, and that's okay because I think it's worth talking about. It's saying thank you after someone buys from you. I might be coming off of Small Business Saturday as I'm recording this in December, where I see a lot of people posting with the tone of, thank you for buying from me because I'm a small business. Or especially as women, I notice, thank you, buy from me because I'm a woman-owned business. And all those things are honestly amazing and important. I also love buying from women-owned businesses and small businesses. I love it so much. But I'm not gonna, and you shouldn't want this either. Like, you don't want someone to buy from you just because you're a small business. You don't want someone to buy from you just because you're a woman. You want someone to buy from you because you're the best. And I believe that you're the best, and I want you to believe that you're the best. So instead of having the posture of like, thank you for supporting me, thank you for buying from me, thank you for helping me, like making it about you, I want you to turn it back on them and say, congratulations. You just made an amazing decision. Congratulations, let's go and get started and help you win. I can't wait for you to wear this dress on New Year's Eve. You're gonna look amazing. Send me pictures. I hope you have the best time. I'll see you, for the next holiday. Anything that puts the focus back on them of congratulations, you made a great decision and I'm so excited for you. That leaves them feeling much more empowered and feeling like they made a great decision. The fourth phrase, and really just principle you have got to be aware of, is saying, I can do that when you generally cannot. Or maybe you could do it, but you're not the best at it. So I am actually here at a mastermind. I'm in Rosemary 30A, and I'm speaking at this mastermind. And I went to dinner with all of the members of the mastermind last night. And I was kind of talking with some of my table and just telling them what we had going on in our business and what we were working towards and what we were learning. And they said, oh, you should teach about that. And I was like, I could, but it's just not my specialty, right? I could do it, but it's not what I know for a fact that I can help people with. I help people with selling, not brand building. I help people with selling, not generating leads or marketing. It's specifically the skill of selling. And what I notice is people, just because they can do it, they say that they can do it, and it ends up being another overpromise. One time, this was years ago, I got on a sales call with a company that I admired so much. I listened to their podcast all the time. And I was driving to work one day listening to the podcast, and they said, hey, we have this new offer opening up. We're going to put a link for a sales call in the description. Click it, and we can see if you're a good fit. And I turned into that office on two wheels. I could not wait to click that button and get on a sales call. And I was so excited to honestly be sold to that when I got on the call, I started sharing all my problems, right? I said, I feel like it's so hard to grow our audience, and our lead generation is not so good, and the page conversions are a little challenging, and I feel like it's just really challenging to cut through the noise. It was just an array of things. And this is a good sign, by the way. When people are giving you all the juice, as I like to call it, sit there and listen and take note. But where the salesperson went wrong is he said this phrase right here. Oh yeah, we can help you with all of that. We can help you with all of that. And I sat there and it honestly felt like a knife in the heart because I really wanted to buy, but I knew deep down that was an overpromise. You physically could not help me with all of that. Instead, what he could say is something like this. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with me. I can't promise all of those things are going to be fixed, but here's what I can tell you. You are going to learn how to build profitable funnels, which means the leads that do come into your world, you're going to make the most out of them by moving them through a funnel and ultimately getting them where you want them to go. Do you see how much more specific that was? It's like, hey, I'm not going to help you with brand building. I'm not going to help you with audience growth. I'm not going to help you with, generating all these leads. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you make the most of the leads that you do have with a funnel. And so we're not selling new things. We are just making the one thing like really appetizing based on the problems that was shared. So just be really, really careful to overpromise. I recently have experienced this more times in the last 6 months than I feel like, in my whole business career, of people overpromising just for the sake of seeming like the professional. But I promise you will seem so much more like the professional when you say, hey, I don't do that. Here's what I do. This also is going to help you be known for something and be known as the go-to girl and the queen of your arena. The fifth and final phrase you have got to get rid of in your vocabulary is the phrase, let me tell you a little bit about me. Let me tell you my story. And, it seems like that's the good thing to do because people need to know your story to know, like, and trust you. That's what it seems like, right? But the truth is, truly, people really don't care about you. They care about themselves. And so the best way to build like, know, and trust is not to tell your story, but to ask them their story and keeping the focus on them as much as possible. So what do you do if someone asks for your story? Of course, you want to tell pieces of your story, but maybe not the whole thing. So here's what I like to do. If someone were to say, hey, Macy, I'd love to know your story, I would respond with a clarifying question that sounds a little something like this. Hey, I'd love to tell you my story. I'm curious, is there something specific you would like to know? Right? I mean, your story is however many years long. You want to give them the tiny little piece that they care about the most. And so let's say someone says, oh yeah, well, honestly, Macy, I'm so curious about, you seem like so young to be having this business and to be knowing this much about sales. Like, how did you get all this information so early? So now I can be specific with the story of the part that they actually care about. And I would say, oh, that's a really great question. So my dad taught me everything I know, and he really started to teach me in high school. I didn't really take it seriously until I started my entrepreneurial journey. But when I took it seriously, I went all in. And that all in mentality really helped expedite the learning process, which helped me master selling and also master the skill of helping other women master selling. And then they might have a little more follow-up questions, which is great. Just keep getting clarity of knowing exactly what is it that they want to know so you can tell the right piece at the right time that keeps them engaged. Quick review of all the phrases we're getting rid of is a guarantee, agreeing with their objection, saying thank you for supporting me or thank you for buying from me, saying I can do that, even though that's not your specialty. And lastly, let me tell you a little bit about my story. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.